All right, so the go-kart buggy was not the plan today. It got really warm. It's actually almost like 50 degrees out today, and I think it was the past 4 days now we've been over, well, freezing, which has been great. A little bit of flooding issues, which we'll get to that in a bit. But I've been getting a chance to get this running a bit here and there, and I've been having, when it was a bit cooler, it was breathing weird, and it's been really foggy. So it was also acting kind of weird. I just figured there's a lot of moisture in the air, yada yada. But I shouldn't be doing that. So I was like, well, let's take a look at this, and well, I found out some stuff. There's a little air hose hookup here, and I'm not really sure what it would do, to be honest with you. And anyways, I was trying to figure out where it goes to make sure it was an airline thing, and it does actually go to this air box. But underneath this, which I found on the computer, underneath this thing, and when I looked at it from this side of the perspective, it was kinked. I mean, like you would kink a hose to make sure no water would come through it. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. And I had the go-kart running at the time, so I was able to get in there and like unkink it, and right away the go-kart pooped out. So obviously that told me that I had it tuned around that somehow, which is kind of cool, but then it means it's not working properly. So the way this was routed underneath here, you really couldn't get to anything, and this little clampy piece was a pain because I don't have the proper tool really to grab it. So anyways, after fighting all that off, routed it up here. It had a memory in here where it would kink, so that's why I got this tape here, and it's seemingly a lot better, but I probably should get a new hose line for that. Nonetheless, so I fired it back up. Actually, we can do it again here, and it seems to be doing a lot better. So here, let's fire it up to the dolly with you. I had a key frozen in it for like a little over a month. Hopefully now that I got this situated. Gave it a little rich. I'm going to wait a minute. The engine's still a little cold, so I'm going to let it warm up and then we'll tune it up. Nonetheless, it sounds a lot better already. It doesn't choke out on me in a minute. I think the electric choke has been kind of a pain in my butt as well. Why do we got to put so much computers on things that do not need computers? Let's not do that anymore. Anyways, we'll let that warm up and get to the original task at hand. For those viewers that are kind of my regular oddball viewers, there's about 14 or 15 of you if I do the math right. Hey, how you doing? Probably noticed I wasn't here last week. The weather got really nice, as you can probably tell. So I cleaned up the lean-to area. That's looking a lot better. And I kind of cleaned up the garage-ish. Mostly the bench. So I got some stuff I got to troubleshoot here. Mostly some solar panels. And I got some stuff I got to work on the caravan with some electrical. And then I got flooding in here, because I didn't quite do the chicken yard properly. So I gotta fix that this season, but that has to wait. So anyways, ever since I did no video last week, and I kind of have almost 2 weeks of videos. Oh, I'm sorry, Weebles. I don't know. Everybody's mad at me, I'm bugging them. What I might do is cut this a little bit more pulp style. So that way I can go back to the past, come here to the present, continue on to the future, with as you watch this would then be the past. But the present to you. Something like that. So, like pretty much right after I got done taking all this down here, I had a friend stop by and was checking things out. And we realized the ground's really squishy, and I was a little afraid that maybe the tanks were helping transfer the load between the two bars. And they may have, but here's where things get more interesting. You see here, that's broken welds. And I was like, oh wow, we shifted it so much we broke the welds, because it did blow really bad. No. Just here. This should have had uprights to give it more support, and they're gone, and they didn't fall out when I took out the board yesterday or the other day over. So okay, and then I was down here looking at that, realizing that this stuff isn't even lined up. There's bad welds, really bad. The wire stuck in there. Evidently crackheads built this fucking thing, and then more so because this was supposed to connect all the way here, and did. You could see the welds, but as they were putting the shower in, they're like, oh hell, let's cut that out of the way, completely compromising all of that support, all of it. So now I gotta not only put this in, I gotta figure out a way to connect it to run it across. And I have an idea, but I really can't weld, let alone weld aluminum. And I don't really want to drill too many holes in this aluminum because it's pretty thin. So I gotta get creative on how to put more support in that, because to me that's almost all factory done. That's the weirder thing. Like, buyer beware, let me tell you, man. I got to figure out a piece to put on this side and the back side to sandwich it all together. So of course the piece of scrap wood I want to cut is slightly too big for my chop saw, and it won't fit in my little kind of setup I got there. I really want to get the table saw out, and I don't need it perfectly straight, so jiggy jiggy. So a little bit of pass through, which I gotta get cable through on either side. So a little wiggle room. Yeah, for the most part, I'm happy with that. So now let's build a sandwich. Shooting kind of blind, I can't tell what you're seeing, so it'll look right. All right. Sell some tech screws. And I don't want to go bananas with it. Really, just like 2 or 3. Well, probably 1, 2, yeah, something like that. Alright, so now we assemble. I got the 3 pieces that all fit a little bit wonky. This one actually was snugger before. I don't know why all of a sudden I have more room. But it is what it is. It'll be fine because it'll be all tied together. So there it is. I do it this way because I'm getting tired of crawling back and forth. So this is the longest span that doesn't have anything. The backside's really not too bad. I still do want to put a little bit more support back here, but I'm not as concerned about that much as this one because they cut this completely out, which I'm at a complete loss for words. It's tied in with screws to the floor, so it's seemingly support-ish, but not really, because it's just OSB ports, garbage. So I do have this beam coming across, so that's kind of nice. So my thoughts is doing a similar wooden thing on this piece, even though it doesn't need it because it has these uprights and actually even this panel, so it's pretty solid. But I figured by having a wooden panel here with wooden supports inside, I can then put a ledger across on the on both of them and then run beams across. Because otherwise, I'll have nothing to connect to. What you doing, girls? He's happy. Buddy. So I'm uh-ohing is all that water. And then I want to go into the garage through that rat wall. Hey, Joan. You usually don't like to do that. What's up, Joan? Just one of your buddy today? Yeah? What's up with you? You got a dirty face. You got a dirty face. Yeah, okay. You guys want some more foods? Alright, hold on, I'll get you some stuff. Yeah, it might be hard to tell. GoPro stuff, but that's like a standard chain link fence, which I guess 4 foot tall, I want to say. All those sunflower seeds. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. And they're not going to stay there. Once it gets a little bit warmer, there's more stuff for the birds to eat because the little birds like to pick through all that stuff. I'll bag all that up and we'll start again next year. But the main area is all cleared up. Got the bike stash a little bit differently because it was getting frozen to all that stuff down there on the wheels, which isn't good for the tires. So yeah, I still have this area is kind of part-ish of the garage, but I got the bigger wood stuff out of the way because I didn't really get to the garage at all. So that'll be part of tomorrow's adventure, is getting this done. But we're moseying along, and I don't have to get done. I really just want to get this more situated enough to work on some projects. I got some things I got to figure out on some solar panels. clean up this wood mess area, and hopefully now get it so I can take my chop saw outside and use my table saw too if need be. So yeah, get the shop ship shape so that way we can do stuff come spring, because it's still technically winter. I mean, it's only like February 16th, so we got a little ways to go, but we're getting there. Here's a crayon drawing of me with hair. My brother Stuart did that about 20 plus years ago. He also did the artwork for this flyer and this pen drawing of a mutual friend of ours. I'm actually going to be working in the storeroom today where I have this cool art stashed randomly for some odd reason. The whole room really should be completely revamped. I just don't know exactly what I want to do. But every year I usually go through and straighten up the inventory and make things look better and get rid of the old stuff. And I just didn't do it last year. So now it's time for a little abracadabra magic. So everything's kind of smartened up, but not really revamped. And I still got to go through all my clothes. It's always a thing. Seems like I'm always throwing, or not really throwing, or turning old shitty clothes into rags or giving clothes away, and I still have so many clothes. Anywho, the biggest thing I really did was just kind of tightened up the shelves back here with stuff, and then instead of having an L shape with the two shelves, I just married them together. And of course, the shelving on them don't really line up right. Even the bottom one's a little off, but nonetheless, it's fine. And the cool thing about the bottom one, I was able to use these long totes that I didn't really need anymore to turn into like really long drawers practically between the two shelves. So that way you can utilize all that space and still be able to access the food, because sometimes it gets tricky. Like the baked goods back here, or baking supplies, I should say, which is mostly Marie, but I use it from time to time. The trick there is this tote can get pulled out fairly easily. And I say fairly because I got to get a new one because it's cracked in the first one, because it's kind of an old tote. But anyways, when you pull that out, then you have access to all the baked goods. And I got some like raw pastas and some other meal stuff back there. It's fairly accessible. You can even kind of access it going around this way. That's another one of these things that I never really got quite right. In a perfect world, what I'd like to do is revamp these shelves with wheels. So that way you can kind of spin them around and move them. And maybe even add one more. I don't have enough room. I don't know. Either which way, that's where we got. Outside like I had planned when I first designed all this, to minimize noise in the shop. Pretty concerned. I think a child's screaming for mommy. I'm gonna give it that a minute. Maybe you should investigate. It's usually quieting down. Oh, no, there it goes again. My neck hurts working from underneath here. Not a very fun position to work. There we go. This bit. You're in the way. 42. A little over 42. So what I did essentially is, after I put in these kind of reinforced plate beams, is I attached a ledger going across at each side, and it connected them with essentially what is a floor joist. I mean, just a 2x4 instead of a 2x6. I think is what you usually use. But nonetheless, it's way better than just this little piece of aluminum, and this one being completely cut and going off to Never Never Land. So the problem side is done. However, I now want to do this side, because it does have a bit of a biff back that way. I don't know if my fingers are in the right spot because I can't see. I guess it'd be that way. There it goes. So yeah, that's gonna be a little trickier, but I'll figure that one out. And I tell you what, I already walked around up inside of the caravan. World of difference, let me tell you. World of difference. My coins. I'm kind of a coin nerd. You know, some of it's just changed. One's actually a John Wick coin, and some others are some dollar coins. Oh, let's to the caravan. So yeah, like right now I'm on what I just rebuilt or reinforced or whatever, and this line from where the window is, you know, what's kind of seen there, is the crossing point. So right now I'm on this most solid point of things, and over here, you can almost hear it too, I'm not. So that's the side I still got to reinforce, which still isn't bad. And then once I get it up to the island, and I have, you know, time to go back up there, I'm going to redo all this flooring. I'm going to leave it as is, I decided, and just put a piece of probably 1/2 inch or something like that plywood over top of it. So I should still have just enough headroom as I walk into the air conditioner, and make this way super strong. Yeah, very happy. And that wraps up what I've been doing the past couple of weeks. If you kind of like what I got going on here and how I kind of tell my story, please like and subscribe. I kind of put out a weekly-ish, I try to do weekly, kind of wrap up of what I've been working on. It's just my daily life. And you never know what you're going to get. Right now it's kind of in a lull point of just getting ready and getting ready and getting ready. But come springtime and summer, things will be getting a little bit more busy and a bit more adventurous. So stay tuned till then. Thank you. Take care.